looks kind of old to me. The branches are turning brown. I think it's time for me to throw it away. What do you think I should do? Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today in my balcony garden. We're going to talk about basil plants today, and I'm excited to chat about what to do when the stems start to harden and turn into branches. Should you toss it or should you keep it? I also have a little tip to help you figure out if your plant needs water. So please keep watching, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get this video started. Hello you guys, it's me being Tori. I'm out here in my garden and I was looking at my basil. As you can see, it started to branch and I was thinking about, I think this basil is done. But no, continue watching and see. We're going to talk about why is my basil branching. If you guys like my garden videos or my cat videos, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. So if we look at my basil, you guys, you can see that it's starting to branch. That doesn't mean its life is over. It means basically it's maturing. And if you look really close, you can see some green sprouts right here. And green on the branch is a good sign that this plant is still living. As you can see, I need to do some deadheading and some uptake on my basil. A lot of leaves, as you can see, are turning light green, and a lot of the flowers are turning brown. And they're done. So what I need to do is some trimming onto my basil. Now there could be many reasons why your basil plant is starting to branch. I'll make sure I put them down below. But for me, I think basically my basil is branching because it's at its mature age. Typically normal for your basil to start to branch when it hits a maturity point. And there are some signs that I want to look for my basil plant to make sure that it's still like on the right route. So I'm squeezing the branches and they're very firm, no sliminess or nothing like that. I don't see, and they're not thin or no slimeness is going on the branches, and I can see that pretty much of it's healthy. But I need to start doing some pruning and some deadheading to keep this basil going on strong. And like we talked before, you can see a lot of green in the basil, and that is a good sign. Up here, if you could see, I have a lot of, it turned into a lot of flowers. And if you watch my other videos, I said I turned this to flower so the birds and bees could pollinate. But I also can see that I can collect some seeds, and I've already started. I got one little seed, you guys, I'm gonna show you guys. Can you guys see this one little seed that I collected? I mean, one is better than zero, right? So this is one little seed that I collected from the dried up flowers. So you want to wait for your basil. If you let your basil flower, you want for the flowers to dry up, and then you can collect the seeds and you can grow some more basil. So what I'm gonna do, you guys, I got my scissors and I'm gonna try to cut above each knot to help some potential growth. Now that my basil is branching, and I still think it's in a healthy state, which is normal for it to branch, by the way. Your basil to branch is in the maturing stage, and also you want to check the branches for, like I said, weakness, sliminess, and other textures like that. Also, I'm going to cut above each knot to help keep the green growing. And since it's at a branching stage, I'm less likely going to get more leaves, you know, than my typical basil. Guys, I'm a newbie gardener, so I may not do things professionally, but I'm here to share my channel and my adventures of my balcony garden. So I'm going to try to cut above each knot, and also I'm going to collect all the dry petals that I see to get some more seeds. Hopefully I can get some more seeds. Fresh green right here, so I'm going to cut above that. And I got a little dry. This is not as dry, but I'm going to leave these out in the sun to dry up. And you can see I have a little flower. So part of me keeping my plant thriving and alive is for me to take care of it. So now I need to do some good pruning, you guys, and collect some seeds. So I'm going to cut right above here. I see a knot. Here, oh, I like that. I'm gonna, where should I cut? I think I'm just gonna cut right here. I'm gonna keep that little, there we go. Once again, I'm gonna wait for these to dry up and collect the seeds. Let's turn this around. Let's see. Like I said, you guys, I'm a newbie. This is like kind of hard, like for me to like, where should I cut? Where should I cut? If you have any tips or anything like that, here we go, another one. And I see some, oh, I see a seed in this one. If you guys can see, but there's a dried up seed in this basil flower right here. So I'm definitely going to keep that and let the rest dry up. So let's see. Newbie garden here, having a hard time seeing where she should cut. So I'm cutting there. Above the nods. There, drop one. Cupcake, don't eat it. There. Got a lot of pruning to do, you guys. This is what this green leaf right here, you guys, is what is keeping me say this plant has potential. This plant has potential, you guys. So I'm gonna cut here. Don't eat cupcake. Now basil is non-toxic to cats, but to make sure they don't overeat or anything like that. So you guys, when I say I'm a newbie gardener, the truth is I've been gardening like since I was in my early 30s. I'm in my 40s now, you guys, but yeah, I still call myself a newbie gardener. You see all the dried flowers? That's gonna be some seeds to collect. And it's easy to collect seeds. You just wanna like get the flower, make sure it's dried up, squish it, and you should see a little black seed when you squish your dry flower. Some of these are not dried up. As you can see, this one is white, and some are brown. And I can still smell the aroma of the basil, you guys. It smells, oh, I love the smell of basil. So I'm gonna keep cutting. Make sure I keep you guys updated on this. We're probably gonna give it like 2 to 3 weeks. Basil, sometimes my basil or when I'm growing grows fast. It depends on the weather. We'll check in about 2 to 3 weeks, you guys. Above the nod, above the nod. One thing that I noticed about flowers is that flowers and, you know, growing plants in general is that they're resilient. You can see right now my flower is pretty much gone, but hopefully I take good care of it, get some sun and all the nutrients that it needs, water, that it's gonna like bounce back up, and then you guys are gonna be like, well, didn't she cut that a few weeks ago? But if not, you know, that's part of life, you know. If it doesn't grow back, then, you know, it's either a lesson learned that I should, like, you know, I should have pruned earlier, or that I was just, you know, not ready to grow. But like I said, this dark green leaf right here, you guys, is what is giving me hope. I'm keeping hope alive that this basil is going to keep on growing. Hey, you guys, if you guys made it this far, comment down below if you're growing any type of herb in your garden, and if you are, let me know, so comment down below. And do you like basil, and what kind of dish do you put basil in? I put it in my chicken, I put it in my pastas, and I just love going to my garden and just like plucking some leaves and put it in my dishes. Okay, you guys, so here's like the final results of all the basil that I took off the plant. Like I said, I have some dry flowers, and so far I collected some seeds. Look at this, you guys, look how many seeds I collected. A whopping 3, but I have more potentials to collect seeds. You guys can see the brown flowers, but I just wanted to show you guys a little of the seeds that I collected. So you just basically take the dried flower like this and you scrunch it up like this, and I like to use like a white background. Did I collect some more seeds? Well, I think that's another one. So I like to use like a paper towel or something white so I can see what I'm collecting, and put them in a Ziploc bag and get ready to harvest them and get ready for the next season. So here is the final results of my mature basil with the branches, and like I said, I squeezed them to check for firmness. So far no slimeness or nothing like that, and I do believe they need some water for the basil after I did all this deadheading. And I probably need to get rid of this one as well. It was kind of hard for me. Like, I'm very sensitive. I was like, I don't want to cut it. Yeah, you need to cut it to grow. But I don't know. So this is it, the final results. And I want to show you a little up close to why I feel this has potential, because of this beautiful, luscious green that we see right here. And don't think just because it's branching that your flower is over. It has more potential, and it's gonna, there's a little downside. It may produce a little less flowers than it did before, but you still have potential of this beautiful basil growing in your garden, and the smell of basil is just, it's just lovely. So I'm going to take you guys over to basil that I plucked off of this flower here to have another potential bloom of basil growing. So you guys see right here, this basil, the soil is dry, as you guys can see. We're going to do some water. California's been all over the place, but we're going to do some watering. And this is a basil that I got from the basil that I've shown you. And I like to do, I know it's been growing in here for a few weeks, and I like to do the pool test. You see that? And therefore that tells me the roots are taken to the soil. And we're going to check up on this basil as well to see more potential growth. So it's been growing for a few weeks and it needs some water. And I'm going to take you to another propagation that I have going in my garden. So you guys, here I live in Seoul, California. I think I'm in like zone 10A or B or something like that. So right now we're in the month of June, and we're having that June gloom and heat, etc. About a few months ago, I want to say maybe March, we had like this crazy heat wave, and I had some basil growing, and then like I checked on it and it was just all dried up. But I was able to save this basil here. If you check out my shorts, you can see that it was super tall. But what I did was I cut the middle of the basil, and I went to put it over here in this pot, some basil. And I did this about a few days ago. I haven't done the pull test to see if the roots have taken to the soil, but I'm a little nervous, you guys. I'm just gonna pull a little. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a few more days to pass by. And we can see now that all my flowers need a little water here in SoCal, California. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put some water into our flowers. As you guys can tell, as I was talking, that a lot of my flowers need to be watered. The sun is going here, the sun is going there, but I know my flowers need water. A little tip that I learned is that, like, yeah, you know, you typically may see that the soil is dry, but that's just the surface of the soil. I like to typically put my finger down in the soil to see if it's moist, and it's a little moist, and I can tell that this propagated rosemary needs a little more water. So I'm just gonna basically put a little more water into my propagated rosemary. So you can see I'm just watering it. I don't want to overwater it because I learned that rosemary is not a flower that needs a lot of water, and I ran out, so I'm going to get some more water. And that is me taking care of my rosemary plant. Okay, you guys, so that was my video of, is my basil still good just because it's branching? So the answer is yes, but there are some signs that you want to look for, other branches and stuff. And we did some pruning to keep the basil growing and growing. We watered some plants. We learned our little things here and there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and keep on growing. Bye.